Welcome. As we journey on the path, the spiritual path to self-mastery. How can you become the best version of yourself? We live a very complex life. There's a lot of moving parts inside of ourselves. It's the Alter Rebbe, the author of the Tanya, the founder of Chabad, the doctor of our souls, who tenderly, masterfully guides us, holds us by the hand as he inspires us to the pathway to better improve ourselves, to become the people that we wish we could be. And the Alter Rebbe does so in a very, very brief discourse, which is expounded upon by the Rebbe in this 1961 discourse that I'm sharing with you right now. But this 1961 discourse of the Rebbe quotes the Alter Rebbe. Let's go into the Alter Rebbe's teaching. He says like this. The Alter Rebbe says that just like a physical body is covered up by garments, by clothing, so too our souls are covered up by clothing. Right? Clothing is not merely a physical garment. Clothing is anything which hides, conceals, presents something. What was the word? Protects. That's nice. Okay. Shields, manifests, expresses that which lies beneath it. Now that is much more than a Bloomingdale's wardrobe. Clothing is, I think the key word for clothing is presentation. If I had to crystallize the definition of clothing is how you present yourself. But what's so interesting is that in Hebrew, in the Holy Tongue, every word in Hebrew is precise. This is an amazing realization. It's incredible. Money is kesef. Kesef means silver, but kesef has a deeper meaning. Kesef means pining. Pining. P-I-N-I-N-G.
Which means?
You don't pine?
You desire.
To yearn, to aspire, to desire, to pine. Kesef means to pine.
No kidding.
Because money is something which a person naturally desires. The Hebrew word for everything manifests its truth. This is an incredible idea. When you look at the Hebrew word for anything, like Adam. What's Adam? What's the name of a human being? Adam. Adam means earth. Shmutz. That's what it means. Adama means Borei Puri Adama. You say, who creates the fruit of the earth. It's Shmutz. Oh, you don't think earth is Shmutz?
Yiddish is not as precise.
No offense. Okay. Earth is earth, right? You know what it means in der Erd?
Of course.
What does it mean in der Erd?
dirt.
In the dirt. That the Erd. Erd is earth. Erd is earth. Yiddish, same word. Erd, earth. So Erd means dirt, but earth doesn't mean dirt.
With the cup and the red.
Right. We say, Rob, we say that if you can't say something nice, say it in Yiddish. Right? Somehow, all the people that I know that speak Yiddish, they know all the curse words in Yiddish. So back to this. So what is Adam? What is a human being? A human being is earth, because you're the lowest of the low. But there's another word. There's another meaning to Adam. Adam also means resembling my maker. Adamel Elyon. It's a quote from Torah. I resemble my maker, which means the human being is the fulcrum that holds the potential to pivot from the highest heights to the lowest depths. In this class I gave this week, they were asking, how could God have created Hitler? How could God have created Hitler? This is the question. Good question.
And the answer is?
I said the
It's
answer
everything.
is because
Don't
is
stop
because
me.
God created us in His image. In His image, just like He has freedom of choice to do whatever the heck He wants, He created us with the same gift.
So Hitler was created in God's image?
Yes,
Because his soul was.
Hitler's a human being. He's created in the image of God, and just like God could choose to rise to the highest heights, to descend to the lowest depths, human beings, all human beings, have that same power too. Even Hamas terrorists are created in the image of God.
You know, Rabbi, I think you have Chuck up until.
I lost him.
Chuck just left.
Chuck is checking out.
Chuck has left the building. Chuck is like Elvis.
That's a big leap.
Why is it a big leap? Did I offend your perception of God? Is God only a nice guy?
No, so you're saying God is an evil person?
God is capable of evil. Evil is not a separate agency of God. Evil is not separate from God. Everything is under the auspices of
So
God.
God is human, can be good. and
No,
bad.
God is not human. God is
I
not
mean
human.
I mean that
Humans are in the image of God.
metaphorically.
Humans are created in the image of God.
How many people got killed in the Torah? A piece of God.
He never gave us, like I said to Larry, where's your guarantee? Where's your warranty? I said to Larry, where's your warranty that life is good? Show it to me. Life is going to be good. I want to see where it says. If you want to see the warranty, it says in the Torah that if you're going to be chosen, you're going to have a rough ride. That's the warranty. Read the warranty. Read the fine. Nobody reads the fine. So,
And telling your line about how tough life is.
yeah.
Nobody gets out. Nobody-
Oh, yeah. This world's a tough place. Yeah, life is tough. Nobody gets out of here alive. Right. Okay. So back to this. So we said that a man is Adam. Man is Adam. Adam means the highest heights and the lowest depths. So what is clothing? What is the word clothing in Hebrew? Clothing means deception. Clothing means traitor, because your clothing betrays. What does the word betray mean? Does the word betray mean that it deceives who you really are, or it reveals? So betray means to reveal. So a traitor is the opposite of betray. No, can't be. We're getting mixed up. But to betray means to manipulate, I think. Can you give me the Latin root of the word, please?
No.
What's wrong with it?
Etymology. Yeah, well,
It's not
yeah.
Latin.
It's not Latin. Yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
Talking about Hitler, it says in the Chayim, for even
Stuck
the
on Hitler.
darkest moments of Jewish history have been orchestrated by God as a pathway to redemption. When the ultimate rises up his head will take place.
Okay. Is that a question or an endorsement?
Endorsement.
Great. Yeah.
I'm trying to make
He's
you look
supporting
good,
me.
Rabbi.
Thank you very much. He's bringing me scriptural citations. Love it. Thank you, Ravel Velazer. Okay, back to business, folks.
For clothing.
Beged. Beged means boged. The boged is a traitor, which means that your clothing is a traitor to your true identity. And what's a traitor? A traitor is a person that says he's working for the Russians, but really he's a Ukrainian spy, right? So on the outside he looks like he's Russian, but on the inside he's Ukrainian, right? A double agent is even more confusing, right? Eli Cohen was the highest echelons of Syrian society. He reached into the cabinet of the Syrian leadership, but what was he doing in the bathroom? He was sending messages, coded messages to Israel, right? This is a traitor. This is a spy. Obviously a traitor not to us, but he's a traitor to the Syrians, right? So a beged is something that deceives the perceiver of the true identity of that which lies beneath it. This is the definition of clothing. Clothing, again, is like a clothing of the body and clothing of the soul. This is a very important parallel that we'll be walking through, oscillating between as we proceed in the profound significance of clothing. And I got to tell you, this is very, very personal. Did I mention this to you? That in girls' high schools today, in girls' high schools, and I have a lot of experience, unfortunately, from what I'm about to tell you, personal experience, spirituality in religious girls' high schools, Jewish religious girls' high schools, spirituality is reduced to inches and millimeters on elbows and knees and collarbones.
Yep, I know it.
It's very, very uninspiring, and in my opinion, it's disinspiring. This is a conversation that I have with my teenage girls,
Exactly why I went away from Borough Park.
because they tell Borough Park, they say that your spiritual mentors are going to look at your knees for girls and your elbows, and they look at your collarbones to be able to measure if it's over here, then you're not a good Jew. If it's here, then you're a good Jew, right? If your skirt is a little too short, a little too high, a collarbone too low, then your collarbone, whatever this thing is called, I don't know, the neckline, it's called neckline, sorry. If your neckline is too low, then you're not a good Jew. And they reduce spirituality, Yiddishkeit, to an oppressive system of oversight, of wardrobe oversight. Who in their right minds would be inspired to say, yes, I want to be like my teacher? It's this discourse which is so incredibly powerful. It's like a family of discourses that I'm teaching here, which presents the messaging that clothing is not a restrictive measure. It's a gift from God to become what you dress like. This is the message that I try to share with my girls. Instead of looking at your clothing as a form of control by your mentors and peers, your clothing is a gift from God, allowing you a shortcut to self-expression and to self-mastery. Because the deep secret that the Alter Rebbe shares with us, quoting Reb Chaim Vital in his book, Moirecho. Reb Chaim Vital was one of the greatest sages of the past millennium. He was the scribe and the master, the star disciple of the Arizal, the saintly Arizal. Reb Chaim Vital writes that the power of clothing of the body and of the soul is an inyan amoik, is a deep mystical matter that transforms that which is enclosed within it to conform to its external appearance. This is the message that I share with my girls. Your clothing is your super weapon. It's your ability to become the person that you want to be. You know, I look at my little kids. I have a lot of different ages at home. Thank God. I'm grateful. The little kids have this obsession with masquerade, with dress-up clothes. We have, in our garage, I think we must have over 100 costumes. Every Purim, it's like a big deal for the kids to prepare as they get ready for the costume that they're going to be wearing this Purim. What am I going to be wearing this Purim?
Hello.
And it's a big conversation in our family. The kids, they dress up. This one, my little Rivka, she was wearing a bridal gown. I think she was 1 year old. She was walking around in a bridal gown all day long. Why do kids love to wear clothing? Why do they love to dress up? This one like a policeman, this one like a paratrooper. And he's very concerned. My 10-year-old's very concerned. Is this an Israeli paratrooper? Or is it just a regular paratrooper? It's very important to him. He needs to know. And there's the gun. The reason the clothing is so important, Kabbalah explains to us, is because we become what we dress. This is not semantics. This is not cosmetic. This is not merely about perception. The Kabbalah tells us, the Kabbalah tells us, yeah, we did a transfer of goods here. The Kabbalah tells us that the clothing that we wear actually changes us. This is such an incredible idea. Now, I'm going to explain to you in a few seconds.
Is it
What?
we become what we wear, or what we wear is who we are?
Dress how you want to.
I love that. I want to just address this. I want to address, mind the pun. I want to address this. Do we become who we, do we dress?
Well, I mean, is
Can you
it
say that again slowly?
something we aspire to, or it's a reflection of who we actually are?
Does the clothing reflect
Yes.
who we are?
Yes.
Or does who we are become how we dress?
Right.
Definitely the latter. I know the perception.
latter.
The perception seems to be the former. I want to tell you, as a rabbi, I notice I love watching what people want to dress like, what adults dress like, what they masquerade like. It's fascinating. What people masquerade like is fascinating on Purim, because I feel like it reveals a deeper aspiration. You know, when somebody dresses up, there's a subliminal message here. So why did they choose to dress up in that very questionable, risque, right, attire? Or why? Or certain people like certain kids, like they just want to be like a rabbi. They want to dress up like a rabbi, and some people they just want to dress up like a hooligan, like a ruffian. It expresses an inner desire. But folks, this is very, very profound. So here's how the Alter Rebbe says. The Alter Rebbe says like this. He gives two examples. He says, if you're a fool, You know, they're people that Nebuch, they're just created that way. They're thick like a brick. There's nothing you can do about it. It just, there's no retention. To quote the great Scar from The Lion King, your powers of retention are as wet as a warthog's backside. The imagery is just, he's talking to the hyenas, right? Your powers of retention, you just got zip. There's nothing there, right? So if you're a fool, what are you gonna do to change? Is there any hope for you? Says the Alter Rebbe in this beautiful discourse. I don't have a date to the discourse, so forgive me. It must have been between the years. The Alter Rebbe was born in 1745. He passed away in 1812. That was around those days, right? Those years. He says, if the fool chooses to speak, remember, speech is the garment of the soul. If he chooses to speak words of wisdom, if he chooses to don the garments of wisdom, because speech is the garment of the soul. There's 3 garments to your soul: thought, speech, and action. If he simply chooses to speak words of wisdom, that whether that means quoting smart people or repeating things that are smart that he's heard, or whether that means to bite his tongue when he wants to say something that just wants to erupt, those thoughts, right? And he just chooses to say wise words. And what's going to happen is not only are people going to think of him as, oh, that was pretty smart, that was shocking, who told you that? Right? Not only will it look like he's smart, but what's going to happen is that if you do it enough times, you will actually become it. Maimonides says this is very, very interesting. We started learning today the laws of the Code of Jewish Law about character. That's what we started learning today, right? Maimonides says, now Maimonides was a great doctor of history. I mean, even the Egyptian Arabs, even they have great respect for Maimonides. Was one of the greatest, most famous citizens of Egyptian history. He was the physician of the great Sultan Saladin. Lived about 900 years ago. Maimonides says like this: if you want to become something, if you want to become an attribute, like let's say you want to become, if you're, let's say, short-tempered, and you want to become patient, Lord, give me patience and give it to me now, right? If you want patience, what are you going to do? What you should do is, says Maimonides, force yourself to be patient once. Force yourself to be patient twice. I think he says only 2 times. I think he says maybe 2 or 3 times. And then he says it will start to become second nature. This is what he says. It's an amazing idea. Like, why? Like, how scientific is that? Like just because I faked it a couple times, like therefore I'm going to start becoming patient. Just, so let's say you don't like someone, your spouse. Maybe you don't like your spouse. It's possible. That happens.
Not a happy ending.
Well, if there's certain people, they don't like certain things. They don't like their spouse. So what do you do? I tell them, say nice words to your spouse. Compliment them. Force yourself to compliment them. Tell them how much you love them, even though you don't mean it. And you'll notice an amazing thing. What's going to happen is that it's going to come around. I'll give you an example. So there was this guy who really hated his wife, like really bad. He hated his wife really badly. So he goes to the rabbi to talk about it. And he really comes clean to the rabbi. He says, Rabbi, I'd be much better off without her. So the rabbi looks at him, he leans forward, starts whispering, and he says, there's ways to deal with this. So the guy's like,
I know a guy.
so the guy's like, what? Tell me more. So the rabbi says, you can do a hit. What? Not that kind of a hit. The Talmud says that there's a way to knock off your wife. Is that the way to speak?
Yeah,
Forgive me for being so crude. There's a way to knock someone off. How do you do that? Your wife specifically. The Talmud says that if you make a big pledge to charity and you don't fulfill it, this is from the Talmud, I'm not making this up. If you make a big pledge to charity and you don't fulfill it, there's good fundraising messaging here, then the person is punished by the death of his spouse. If I remember correctly, it might be death of his spouse and his children. I mean, that's pretty intense. It's pretty intense, right? This is what the rabbi says to him. He's like, okay, Rabbi, so what do you say? He says, I want you to get up, think about this, get up in shul, make a huge pledge, huge, and don't fulfill it.
All the people gave money.
Within 12 months. The guy's, Rabbi, I love you. Rabbi, you're amazing. But then there are slow down. You can't just get up and make a pledge like that. You got to make a paper trail. You got to cover your tracks. People are going to get suspicious. They might get onto your plan. So what you need to do is you need to. If people say they see, oh, this guy made a big pledge, but he hates his wife. He always talks badly about his wife, right? You got to make a paper trail. You got to show people that you love your wife, and then they won't be able to connect the dots. Rabbi, I totally know what to do. You're amazing, Rabbi. I love you. Okay, that Shabbos he gets another in shul. And he says, because so-and-so will make a donation of $1 million. $1 million! He announces in front of the whole congregation, Joe Schmo is donating $1 million. The place erupts, like you saw that video of Professor Gottesman. She announces to Albert Einstein University. The minute she says tuition free, that place goes wild.
Yeah.
It goes wild. That's what happens in the show. $1 million, the rabbi, the gabbai, everybody's going nuts. They're just imagining what's going to. This guy's like a celebrity. Plan's working. But then he comes home and he tells his wife that she looks amazing. No, sorry. What he does, I'm sorry. He comes home from work before the pledge. He comes home from work. And as he comes home from work, he has flowers. He brings flowers. His wife looks at him. He hasn't brought her flowers in 15, 20 years. She looks like, what's this? And he's like, oh, it's because I love you. Okay. That's kind of cool. Interesting. So she's a little suspicious, but okay. The next night when he comes home, he smells his favorite dinner cooking. She hasn't made him dinner in a couple years. She's like, what's that? Oh, I made you dinner. Your favorite dinner. Oh, okay. But now tonight he's still on his plan. Right? He bought her a dress. He's giving her a dress. She's making him dinner. The third night he's bringing her shoes. And she's warming up to him as well, right? So what's happening here? He's warming up to her. She's warming up to him, right? He's made the pledge in shul. Plan is everything's going according to plan. It's amazing. The rabbi, it's incredible, right? Problem is, after 3 months, things are on fire.
You don't want to kill her anymore.
Things are on fire. He comes to the rabbi and he says, Rabbi, you won't believe it. I can't believe I'm saying this, but I think I fell back in love with my wife. I'm being nice to her, but she's being so nice to me. I can't believe it. She's amazing. This is the woman I fell in love with. Rabbi, you know what? Rabbi, call off the hit. So the rabbi looks at me and says, I can't.
Does he?
Got to pony up the money.
Give me back my money.
No, he
So
never
the-
gave it to him.
So he says, Rabbi, hang on. So he says, Rabbi, call off the hit. The rabbi says, I can't. It's already in motion. You can't reverse that. So what's my out? Pay the pledge.
Hey, I'll pay
Right?
the pledge.
It's a cute story, right? But what's the message? What's the message of the story? It's a cute story, but the message here is that if you don't like your wife, okay, have you thought about being a mensch? Have you considered that option? Maybe it's not her, right? Maybe you need to be speaking like a mensch. Maybe you need to be initiating emotional intimacy instead of being a needy addict to what your wife can do or should do in your perception for you. Maybe you should be a man. Maybe you should be a giver. The Rebbe says that a man's supposed to give his wife 4 things. The man is supposed to give his wife 4 things. This is life-changing. Love, honor, respect, and peace.
Peace.
The man is responsible for 4 things in the home. He is solely, Solely, he is solely responsible for 4 things in the house that the woman has no responsibility for. Love, peace, respect, and honor. Which means, if you come home and you feel your wife's not respecting you, it's not something to be offended about. You need to be the lighthouse, the energy base. You need to be the generator of those 4 items in the home, because the man is the giver and the woman is the receiver. The woman is the earth. The woman is the earth, right? The role of the man is to plant the seed inside of the earth. What happens when a man plants a seed in the earth? What does the earth give back? You planted one little incy-wincy seed. She's going to give you back endless supplies of fruit, trees, an orchard, right? What you need to do, you need to initiate the process, the catalyst. You plant the seed. The man conceives, literally conceives inside of the woman, right? So the man gives and the woman reflects back. But the role of the man is the giver, and the role of the woman is to be the receiver. So instead of sulking for the past 30 years about what your wife should be giving you, stop it. Stop it. Take responsibility. Man up means to be a giver, to be a mashpia. Love, honor, peace, and respect is the responsibility of the man to give. When the man gives that, then the woman will treat you in ways that you never knew possible anymore, right? But the idea is, sorry, Harvey, one second. The idea is that if you're not feeling that, then speak those attributes, think those attributes, act those attributes. Garments, put on the jacket. If you put on that jacket of respect, love, honor, and peace, you wear the jacket, which means when she explodes at you, instead of reacting to her emotion, you can smile, validate, calm, collected, composed, centralized, compassionate, and kind. If you can be that lighthouse of peace, she'll calm down. And you will be able to give. Then you'll be able to start feeling it. And this is what the Alter Rebbe is teaching us. The pathway, the spiritual pathway to self-mastery is by wearing the jacket.
So, this is a very important question. What is the merit for the man who for 58 years supplies all the garments, the clothes, the jewelry, the shoes, etc.? That might be a little personal, but what does Torah say about that?
I don't understand the question. Can you tell I understand the question. Can you repeat it? So what is the role of the man that gives it, and then what happens?
No, what's the merit? What's the reward? What's the reward?
The reward is marital bliss. That is priceless. There's nothing worse than a horrible marriage. There's nothing worse than a horrible marriage. And there's nothing better than a good one. There's nothing better than a good one.
Happy wife, happy life.
Yeah, and you know what I'm talking about.
Yes, about the debt. Am I correct? Lists all the responsibilities of the man to the woman, not from the woman to the man. Is that correct?
These are responsibilities of men to the woman. I'm sorry, the get. No, you're talking about the ketubah. The get is the severance. That's the end. But the ketubah lists the 10 obligations of the man to the woman. The woman's obligated to give the man nothing. Okay. Comments coming in. And how's it working with the girls? Amazing, thank God. That happened when I was in school in the 60s. Nothing new, focused on hemlines. Exactly. See, Corey agrees with me. My husband tells me my Saturday wardrobe is shtetl chic. Shtetl chic. Her husband tells her that her Shabbos wardrobe is shtetl chic. Cool. That's an interesting genre. Good. Usually after 3 times it becomes a habit. That's good. Fantastic. All right, folks. I'm going to call it a day with that. Thank you very much. Have a good day.
If that guy got mixed up between